NOS4A22, Chapter 12, One Thing at a Time. In another time, there would have been much more suffering and darkness. People betrayed one another so selfishly. Everybody hurt one another so gruesomely. All these things were taken back by Father Time, as he gave righteousness back to Mother Nature, and in turn, Carlos in his natural reaction did what he did. There is no more time for deceit. There is no more room for betrayal in the grand scheme of things. Goodness has been off balance with the abundance of evil for far too long. The takers take. That is what you can expect from them. The givers give. You will always know, because they will be taken advantage of. Their sign is for all to see and to use. The telepathic psychic vampire is out of control in this world, and the good doers have now been given the power to have their time in the sun. They have the power of the sun and will destroy this evil darkness that can be felt. The evil ones run from the truth because it destroys their foundation of lies. They only half exist because of the imaginative power they manipulate and exploit through their own fears. All who possess this priceless knowledge have the righteous power of the true good energy source that absolutely eradicates evil. This is the recurring theme of all true goodness that shines on through to every dimension and universe through the layers of infinite cosmic darkness. The tasks at hand in these times have changed. Abbas and Fran have lived their whole lives as manipulated people to do evil. They chose the lesser evil in their minds to kill the ones that the good strong creatives have also targeted as evil threats to humanity. Anyone working with the psychic vampires has marked themselves good as dead by the changing of the times and the coming of the new age. Darkness just about took over and almost won, barely being pulled back into the depths of space. In these times of grace bestowed upon the good doers who abhorred ignorance, they changed the term of the good doer and led by example, calling themselves good doers, to correct the hatefulness of mocking scoffers who make fun of good acts and deeds. All of the children's souls freed of the curse get to set their spirits free in perfect justice, as they inhabit the new black quartz bodies of tears from the very special Makea. All across the globe, freed souls once under the curse of Aram the Leech now get to enjoy karmic vengeance. These children no longer had to feed on the flesh and blood and bones of others. They got to crush and destroy the ones who were taking children. Although the ones they killed really did take these same children away from terrible situations in their homes they were growing up in, they were only going from one hell into another. This had to be stopped after all the poor lost children were taken and destroyed, causing chain reactions of the worst kinds of evils. With all that damage Aram and Ursula had done, and all the pain they have caused to others, they had been destroyed finally. The power source of the Nosferatu was restless and agitated beyond human comprehension, because their most evil methods had not only been prevented, but they had been eliminated. One of the 12 good strong creatives who followed Janus Dougal operated among the group of Nosferatu that were left in hiding. He hid among them as a silent martyr for the goodness of all. They were already a ghost, and so no one spoke of the mission because it would have been looked at immediately as an act of terrorism towards the evil order of the Leech and all the telepathic psychic vampires. The plan had been described in another time and had been shut down, as the actual evil Nosferatu forces used their power of lies and confusion against Villamus Chanda. The others were forced to hold the truth of their stories as Aram the Leech held their tongues and twisted their thought patterns through his mental attacks. He was connected to dark and evil technology that was powered by the essence of the Nosferatu. One of the precious 12 who were with Janus had even been made to say lies about their own name. His name was actually just the universal letter A, as it sounded like what many people across the world shout to get someone's attention. A. The noble Janus, leader of the strong creatives who called themselves the Good Doers, was with Maggie now and Lou. Maggie had introduced Lou to Janus right after a very funny incident that no one would have ever expected in a million years. Everything and everyone was coming together in perfect harmony, and they all were about to build, strengthen, and quantify a love that would exceed the imbalance that had offset world peace throughout the manipulated generations. It all started with a kiss and came with shock in the least of expected ways. You see, Maggie had learned to love and admire a man. That man was Lou. I can't believe you just did that. Vic's ghost popped up out of nowhere from one of Makea's tears that Janice had in her collection, along with quite a few more that she was just about to talk about, until even she was shocked from what she had just witnessed from the very much gay Maggie. Shit, Vic, I can't believe it either. Lou was stuck in shock, speechless, as Maggie about jumped out of her goosebumpy skin. Vic, oh my god! Lou fell to his knees and sobbed at the feet of his deceased wife. Get up, Lou, I'm not mad. I guess this is how Spawn felt. Vic's spirit smiled to let them know she was really just being her brat self. If I don't get mad, you can't get mad, Vic. Wayne's deceased blood father showed up as soon as Vic spoke, only to say those words, then went immediately to Wayne to talk to him and tell Millie where to go to find Janice. Oh my god, that's hilarious. I'm a ghost, a fucking ghost, who just got scared by another ghost. This afterlife shit is crazy, you guys. Vic continued with the cheerfulness of her old self to really drive it on home that she was really okay about what had happened. Lou had actually passed out and took a good nap there in Millie's paradise. None of them knew that that was where they were until Janice had finally begun to speak, and Vic confirmed it. Maggie should have known, or at least guessed, but she was taken by the power of love, and it was intoxicating in a way she had never felt before. She felt very strong and very right at the same time. When she finally let go and gave in to her feelings, it was like a huge weight was lifted from her shoulders. She felt differently and even breathed differently. Okay, I don't know how to feel about this, okay? Maggie stepped back and gave a big-eyed expression as her jaw sunk back into her throat, mouth half open. Look what you did to Lou. That says it all. Get over it. I'm happy. No matter what happens with all of us, I'm here to make us stay together through love. That's what I'm here to do. I'm happy, I promise. Vic stressed before Janice began to speak. I wish I could hug you, Vic. Maggie's eyes welled up. Then Janice no longer held her tongue, as she was already with Maggie and Lou for a long while. Open your eyes. You are already here in your child's imagined land. Lou sat up like a zombie that had not been shot in the right place to look around in excitement. We're here? That's right, Millie's Paradise, as Wayne likes to call it, has been restored with twice its brilliancy and beauty because of these times of grace we have been gifted with. Carlos is now the leech of the new age. He is more dangerous because he is conflicted with good and the evil that has possessed him. He has a little girl who has become possessed with the spirit of death that resided alongside the Earth Beast's spirit. This little girl, who has become death itself, is free of the restraints of a mental captor, the likes of Ursula, and this can also be said about Carlos, who no longer has any other kind of hold on him. This means that they are both inhabited with the concentrated evil energy of the NOS4A22 and death itself. They have now come to kill the most evil ones who cannot be reformed. We are not to stop what they are doing necessarily, Janice began. Okay, Janice, this is a lot, Vic's ghost spoke. Yes, but there's much more, Janice let them know. Speak on, Janice, Vic's ghost insisted. Thank you. So here it is. I will tell you all I know that you need to know from what I've gathered from my 12. Janice reached in her cloth sack, and Lou interrupted to ask, Janice, where are these 12 you keep speaking of? I don't mean to doubt you. And as Lou had let his impatience slip, Janice's hands came out of that bag with 12 stones, and held them in her hands while she spoke on. Look, here are the 12. And Janice showed Maggie Lou and Vic's ghost the 12 living spirits of good, strong creatives who were with her. There was one who had just become a ghost and eliminated one of the groups of evil NOS4A22 followers. Unfortunately, they all had become ghosts protecting Millie and Wayne. My name is Villamus. I am the man who infiltrated the ones left who are most wicked, the ones who harm children. I studied vermin and rodent extermination, and went and applied my knowledge to the NOS4A22. With Micaiah's tears, we made bodies of tears like yours, Vic. I left mine and used it as a spreading series of bombs that used the vampire's own movement and patterns to spread their death as much as I could. I did this to save your son Wayne and his girlfriend Millie, because we know they are the ones who will be capable of defeating and destroying the NOS4A22. Villamus Chanda gave his introduction to his previously silent story not because of the vampiric hold, but because of the covert operation he sacrificed his life to carry out. That was the only way he could have been successful. Janice spoke on this. Villamus Chanda was our ace in the hole, as the term goes. He knew his mission meant death, like a terrible terrorist. He was the terrorist of the NOS4A22. This is true, and his sacrifice saved the children that we love, and many countless ones we never had to meet, thankfully. My name was Turboz. I'm a little older than Villamus, and wanted to go with him, but along with the others here, we stayed to keep them safe. We made a circle around Millie and Wayne, with our backs to them, and our knives pointed towards the endless outpouring of those NOS4A22 children of the night. We kept them safe until they overpowered us all. Turbos came out of the black quartz crystal tier, spoke, and went back into the hands of Janice. Then spoke of Turbos, Elik, A, Glinda, Sai, Dandy, Ron, Mirabelle, Kizzy, Stellan, Ozias, and Janice herself to repeat this kind of introduction for each of them, telling of who they were and where they were from, as you'll learn in this wonderful story of real true love through incredible odds in the face of evil. More will be revealed as the story is told. What needs to be known now is that Lou, Maggie, and Vic in these moments learned a lot of things about a lot of things. Janice and the 12 noble ghosts educated them on everything they needed to know about all that happened and what lay ahead for them. To know what was needed from them with what was to come. Everyone learned that when Micaiah was helping Millie and Wayne through the good imagined pathways, the F3 and the leeches came at them, trapping them from both sides, then encircling them. The 12 minus Vilnius Chanda were immediately redeemed by the coming of the Ghoul Eaters. Soon as the youngest fell first, Turbos Shin, the Ghoul Eaters were there, seemingly out of thin air, with such ferocity and inhuman speed of perfect, vengeful justice that the evil masses of NOS4A22 were devoured into nothingness, as they were barely able to take out the remainder of the noble good doers. Their job was done, while karmic rotations circled around, full cycle and orbit complete in those moments. Lou's old brown truck was safely parked in the very driveway of his own son's home, and all he could think of was the dreams of the long drive there with Maggie. He remembered not turning his head back, not even once, but he couldn't help but notice out of the corner of his eyes when he would glance in the rearview mirror or his side mirrors the crumbling pathway he drove them on towards the concealed place they made it to. He couldn't understand. His head was a mess, but Lou was enjoying every minute of it, every damn second, because he knew he was loved, even more than what he felt any man should be gifted in life. Lou didn't even want to have any kind of sex with Maggie. He never did. He just really loved the fact that he was loved and could be valued that much by someone like Maggie, because he really did love her as a person, same as Vic felt for her. This kind of love was so strong, because it was the real kind that was unconditional. Anything less is not real, no matter how much people lie to themselves. The realization hit Lou the same time it hit Maggie about where they were. When Janice was done educating them all on what had happened, she had stopped, and Vic's ghost was noticed in the place where she was coming to talk to Millie and Wayne. They all knew it because of the tree. On this beach, with the snowy mountains behind them, they learned from Janice that they indeed were in Japan. In this place that no one would ever guess to see it was a pine tree the exact size of Vic's ghost. On the tree was not one evil ornament from Charlie Makes Christmas Land, but instead was an ornament Lou helped Wayne make before he disappeared with Millie. It was the tree topper, like the angel of the Lord, the guardian angel. Around the tree was the silver tinsel that Wayne's mother loved so much, even though Lou hated always having to clean it up, always picking at the floor like a good dad would, keeping up the good example of a man who keeps his house clean. There wasn't a single strand found on the beach, other than what was nicely wrapped around the tree. Vic's ghost wept tears of joy, because she never stopped to turn around and look at what was behind her when she would come to that spot to find her son and his sweet girlfriend, who in all truth was too old for him if she had been left to die. Instead, Janice let them know that when the real curse was lifted off her and Wayne in that moment when Aram lost his head, Millie became Wayne's age because their hearts were now one in spirit. And all that Charlie had done to her was redeemed and taken back because of the wronging of the devil's plan. Wayne was bound to his love. Although a betrayer in essence, the power source of the NOS4A22 does not take betrayal lightly when it is cheated by someone that the very evil energy itself has given power to do so. This is why there was no coming back for Charlie, and this is why there was no coming back for Ursula and Aram. They were gone forever, as chaff to the wind, as they deserved for the pain they have caused to too many innocent lives. So, as the tides changed and peace was felt, more peace came in the comfort of Wayne's voice. He had finally made it back to where they had left in the first place. Maggie was the first to say anything to him and Millie. Wayne saw them all there on the beach with their backs to him and didn't know they were all crying their heads off, metaphorically, of course. "Dad, I'm sorry, Dad. I'm sorry I left. I didn't mean to make you sad." Wayne made Lou drop to his knees and grab his chest like Red Sanford, down to the funny fact that he was faking a heart attack. Maggie turned quickly around with the biggest satisfied smile when she saw Millie with Wayne, holding hands running together to them, more or less skipping, as she yelled at Wayne, "I told you guys all you had to do was find Janice." "Yeah, we know why now. We didn't know when it happened, but we know now." Millie made Maggie weep heavier with a laughing comfort as she saw that Millie was speaking like a happy little girl instead of the deadpan damaged little thing she once was. Those beautiful pearly white smiles on the faces of Millie and Wayne gave such relief to Lou that when he turned around, still dropped down to one knee, the air left him and dropped him low for a second, as heavier tears also came and found him. One more beautiful thing was about to happen in this moment that sent them all into a higher state of blissful peace than what they ever could have been prepared for. Micaiah was about to show up in a reflection of another place that they would need to find to connect good paths to. Before this happened, the countless souls of the ascended innocent souls once taken by henchmen of the NOS4A22 had been redirected to the place they knew to be Millie's paradise. All the ghosts of the lost children who were taken by NOS4A22 from the last two ages past, and all of them were now gathered there in joy, overjoyed. The goodness radiated and emanated inside the place to such a degree that everyone was sharing this euphoric state beyond any substance. They had unlocked within them the divine source that connected them to the pure positive energy beyond the stars that was also grounded in the earth. The pillars of love were set in this place, and they reached up to infinity. Once this initial thing had happened, once Maggie, Lou, Janice, Millie, and Wayne all had let things absorb into their processing minds of such wonderful feelings through this heavenly event, Victoria McQueen had a wonderful thing happen for her ghost. In this moment, she became the leader of the lost children in a mission to end each and every NOS4A22 henchman's life, no matter who they were, woman, man, young, or old. Each and every one left out there were no longer directly given any power whatsoever from the new leech, and what that meant for those evil fucks was no mercy. Soon after, they heard a distinct voice of great concern. the sweet Micaiah, still trapped, but even worse than they imagined. She was speaking through a reflection of her tomb of what could be, the tomb of what might be. She spoke with utmost urgency in her stressed and shaky voice, doing her best to not break down and cry. I will give you stockpiles of my tears through this reflection of my tomb here, of what might be. Maggie, Janice, use your powers with Vic to arrange perfect bodies of these black quartz crystal tears. Group them so that each and every lost soul will be found in them. Vic, you will lead them throughout the earth to destroy the henchmen that go on, carrying out their own free will, continuing the evil that the NOS4A22 started, as they still carry out these evil acts and deeds, even when most of them know by now of the ghoul eaters. They have chosen death, and we will deliver. I am kept here by a hold that must be broken even still. Fran and Abbas are out there killing the loose henchmen already, still killing as afflicted NOS4A22, both Fran and Abbas, but they're also conflicted with both good and bad, making them more dangerous. If they continue, they will eventually and inevitably betray each other suddenly, and Aram will die in the desert, left to wander until the end of time in heavy sorrow. Fran will die and be taken over as the new leech carrying the power source that is the living death essence of the NOS4A22 inhabiting Carlos, because I have been shown through strong feeling that the evil essence seeks to overtake Fran and do these things through Carlos. He himself does not even know. If this happens, then Carlos will not save me, and I will be trapped forever within a state of vampiric living death in this tomb, in his domain of perverted strong creativity. I'll be able to talk to you now through here, in this reflection of my tomb of what might be, since the old curse of the NOS4A22 has been lifted. Now you must break this evil curse that had been enchanted with evil manifestation, as Aram the Leech knew his time was coming to an inevitable end. Now one more thing before I continue to weep, as I cannot stop. Find my husband. He is in South Africa. Bring him here before evil finds him. I am still alive in these closed-off pathways within the hidden places of the NOS4A22. Go now, please. Micaiah began to cry. Her tears flowed out of the reflection of the water and lined the beaches with those black quartz crystal tears. They did as they were told, and every ghost of the once lost souls now had the most amazingly weird, yet most awesome new bodies that acted as both conductors and distributors of their raw spirit power that wielded the power of the sun. Evil would soon be hunted down in every corner of the earth, as the NOS4A22 power source was restless to regain dominant control of the agenda of true evil.